Welcome to the show, Oliver Hazard. How are we doing?
Thanks for having us.
Doing great. Doing good.
I love to hear it. You're on tour right now, obviously. I saw you were in Portland last night.
Oh, yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah, I mean, last night was a great show. I feel like, for whatever reason, it was our most, attentive crowd of the tour, which is great. Almost so attentive that they almost didn't even, clap at the end of the song. They were just, waiting for something to happen. It's a very good thing to play with crowds like that, because you at least feel like they're listening and they're able to, listen to little nuances in the set that we care about.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, there's a respect for music because they don't get it as much as everyone else.
That's good.
So I think that's something that I always clung on to, is they're in a town that people don't always tour, and so they when they go, they're all in, whereas some, big cities or whatever, like Nashville and LA, they're a little harder to gain the attention of the crowd because they just have so much music. Not to say all of the crowds, but just sometimes.
Do you have a preference between a more energetic crowd or more attentive?
I would say we definitely prefer the attentive crowds. I mean, I think any artist would agree to that.
But if we can get the combo,
Yeah.
the hybrid.
Yeah. It depends on the context of the show, too. If it's something that's at a festival and there's a bunch of people, I hope that you're talking a little bit, because then it's just weird.
Yeah.
But, if it's a small room and you can hear someone's voice very easily, those are the shows that it's the most distracting.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I saw someone describe your music as energetic yet calm, and I was like, that's the comment that I resonate with. I agree.
That's a good point, actually. We always are confused. We seem to confuse the crowd sometimes because they start trying to dance and then they realize they can't, and then they just kind of, and then they just stare at us.
That's funny. So Oliver Hazard, that's the band name, and I'm not going to pretend like I knew who the naval commander was. I didn't, but I know that he was a naval commander, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we barely even know that. We just grew up near Lake Erie, and we wanted to use a local namesake. And
okay.
That was kind of, he just had a cool name, and so Oliver and Hazard is the first and middle name of Oliver Hazard Perry, and we just kind of ripped it off. And because we're from that area, everybody kind of thought they knew who we were when we first started. They were like, oh, I think I've heard of you. And in our head, we're like, no, you have not heard of us, Because no one calls him Oliver Hazard. They call him Commodore Perry or, Oliver Hazard Perry. It's just so that we kind of got in people's heads a little bit, I think, and faked it till we made it.
That's actually super funny. I didn't even think about that. That's kind of our Paul Revere.
Totally.
Or Lost in Lore.
Or Franz Ferdinand. There's a lot of bands that kind of take famous people's names already.
Yeah, speaking about Paul Revere in Boston, last time you guys were here, 10 tickets sold. You were playing in front of a crowd of 10.
Yeah, 2 of which were my college roommates. But the other 6 were in the band before us.
I'll hit it with the better news, though. I probably should have led that, not just putting you on blast. You only sold 10 tickets. You sold out Sonia today. So quite the difference. Obviously indicative of a major growth for the band. How does it feel to look back on then, versus now, and to see the growth that you've had?
It feels like it's just kind of about time or something.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, good answer.
Not nothing happened it happened very quickly at first, then we kind of plateaued, and then COVID happened, and then we've been really trying to get back to kind of where we were hype-wise before COVID. And, digging into playing our own shows and headlining has been a long time coming, but it's been postponed for a couple of years, I feel like, due to circumstances.
Yeah.
And, it just feels like we've done our work, and we do at least deserve the moment that we're having right now.
It is crazy still. I'll never, even every night so far, I look out of the crowd and I'm in total shock, I still think there's someone playing after us that everybody came for,
That's you, man. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit on it when you said nothing really happened overnight. And I found your music, I think maybe 2020. And I've been following you since. And to see your growth has been really cool because it's different, but also traditional. You guys aren't blowing up on TikTok. You're not in your car "And this is song of the summer." It's really cool. It's the bands that I used to really love and watch. It's changed, and I feel like I have a glimpse of that with you guys. So that's pretty exciting.
Sweet.
Yeah, we try to not throw ourselves out there too desperately. sometimes you got to catch on to the local or the traditional things that are happening at the time, but we try to remain ourselves as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we're horrible in front of the camera too.
Tough. It's
We
almost good.
We
It's so
try
bad.
hard, but it's like we're just so freaking awkward.
Hey,
It's
I
bad.
can't tell. We're in
Yeah.
front of a few right now.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great.
Don't look.
But yeah, the 10-person show, it says something to have experience, not like setbacks, but those little moments where you're like, God, I wish this were a little bit better. Do you think that like helps shape you into what you are today? And like, do you ever have points where you're like, do I quit?
Oh yeah.
I still have those points.
Yeah.
Not really, but everyone has their days.
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, we didn't think there was. I think 2021 was the hardest year for the band. Weirdly enough, like 18, 19, fine. Even COVID, like 2020, like it was okay. Like we were kind of all in it together thing. But 2021 to 2022 was such a tough time because it felt like we were like, we started the band when we were 28. We didn't start as kids. We were all like working careers, quit our jobs at 28 and started a band into our 30s. And when our 30th birthday came on 2020 and 2021, we were like, oh my God, we're 30 now. And like, we have ultimately like no fan base, nationally. We've been working at this for 4 years now, And so, yeah, I think we did kind of take a long, hard look at this and we were like, let's give this like one more year maybe, like let's at least get to that 5-year mark. And here we are. So I'm glad we didn't quit.
Hey, it worked out. 75% of tour sold out. Obviously, we've talked about like your growth, and it's now like a sustainable band. But you guys still got some hometown love for Waterville, Ohio. I want to talk about that. But first, I saw you did something actually super cool with the Toledo. What is it? The Toledo Symphony Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was 5 years in the making.
Yeah.
Can you tell me just about like the collaboration?
Nate, do you wanna talk about the symphony?
Well, I mean, you had been contacting the symphony since the beginning of the band, right?
Yeah, I shot them an email in 2018 when we first started, and they were like, absolutely not.
We just didn't have a lot of material. I think they were like, oh, good for you guys, but what are we going to do, play a half-an-hour show?
Yeah.
But anyway, we then started collaborating, and Nate actually, he and myself and the symphony chart writer, we kind of worked together as a trio for like months, sending, notes back and forth on like how we wanted them to sound on our music, because, our music's very nuanced, and so.
Yeah, Bill was amazing. He was essentially the fourth member of Oliver Hazard that evening. The charts that he put together, the arrangements he put together, that if you were there, you got to experience, but hopefully eventually you'll be able to hear them as well. He did an incredible job.
Are there instruments that you guys used during working with the symphony that like isn't present on the tracks?
Oh, sure.
What were you working with?
I mean, we had a full symphony orchestra, essentially, so a lot of extra percussion. Well, I mean, I guess a lot of percussion elements were in the recordings, but I mean, you're talking strings, violins, upright bass, trumpets, clarinets, oboes,
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Pretty
that
much
So special to
Pretty
like,
much
have that
nothing
opportunity.
everything they played was not on like any of our original tracks except for like
Yeah, it was
a shaker and a tambourine.
complete original arrangements for that performance.
Wow. Did you have a favorite like song that came out of it?
2x4 was really cool.
There was a lot of them.
Yeah, they all
Ballerina.
were. I was just glad that it worked. It was a stressful thing because it's like even if we play well and you play well, is it going to work well together? And the rehearsals were a little bit shaky just because it was new territory.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just so happened that the evening we played the show, it just seemed to work.
That's always the case, I feel like.
Yeah, it was, but it turned out good. It was relaxed. It didn't feel forced. So I'm lucky that it worked.
Man, that's awesome stuff. That's like super special to have music of your own in the first place, but then to see it like brought to life in a completely other way.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a dream come true.
Mention Waterville, shout out. You guys do something really cool there every year, which you talk about in every interview. So I'm sure you're sick of it now, but I do want to hear about it. I think it's so sick. You have Oliver Hazard Day every year in Waterville. Being an artist, especially when you started an independent artist, is a lot of work. Why take on more work to start a festival?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. I think when we started this band, we never wanted to just be a band, I think that there's like, some bands are totally cool with just being like showing up, plugging in and playing their show, but I don't know. I felt like I personally needed more than that. And we're on an island in Ohio. We chose not to move to Nashville or LA or New York. And so instead of, going to those places and networking, we decided we're just going to invite them to our hometown and play some music. So every artist that plays is either we're a fan of, or we met them on the road and we're a fan of them. But yeah, it's like we're trying to cultivate like a musical community in our own way that isn't, just like, going and forcing it in some big city somewhere. So
we'll get to this later, but I reached out to a bunch of your fans and I was talking to them. We'll get to that later.
That's awesome.
But it's like a thing. People like anticipate it every year. How does that feel to like, that's where you started and now you kind of have left a legacy there.
Yeah, it is nice that people just keep showing up. I don't really think about it too much. I mean, it's just every year. It's like 2 months before you start feeling the pressure of it, and really in general. I would say at least half of the year you really start working on it for like 6 months.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of like a wedding. Then the day gets there, and you're like, I just want this to be over with. Just because you put so much time into it, and like it's just. You hope that there's good weather, but to what you said, I'm just glad that people have helped sustain it, and we've done a good enough job for people to keep showing up.
Yeah.
I think the angriest I've ever seen Dev was when it was like the day before this last Oliver Hazard Day, and we were doing a promo for the festival at our local news station, and we're sitting in the lobby waiting to go do our interview, and the weatherman comes on, he's in the other room doing his promo, and he's like, tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be an insane weather night. We're going to have an event. It is going to be intense. Tornadoes, thunderstorms, lightning. And I just see Dev's face like getting redder and redder and redder. We've been working on this festival for like 6 months. And all of a sudden, this weather guy is just like telling us how our festival is going to like blow away, basically. But yeah.
Because it's Sunday. Sunday's going to look nice. Like it's Saturday evening.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. And he was like, ooh, yeah. But anyway, we had a tornado warning in the morning while we were setting up, and somehow Waterville, Ohio had like a ring of blue over it, and everywhere else had like intense thunder, and we somehow pulled it off.
Skated us. Yeah, went like around everything.
Man, that's fate.
Yeah,
You guys like get tornadoes often? Have you seen one with your eyes?
Once in a while.
I've seen one.
Not very
No way.
often. Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine seeing one.
When I was a kid, I remember we used to like go outside and like search for them. We'd like
See a
scan the
funnel cloud
sky
every once in a while.
We were born in 2 different cities, let me tell you. I saw Illiterate Light was at this year's Oliver Hazard Day.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the show super randomly. They were at this music festival I was at, and I was like, wait, do you guys like want to come on my show real quick?
That's
and
awesome.
I went backstage with them. They're so sick.
Dude, they're amazing. Yeah, they're so good.
They're very good.
Intense. I think they took like a parking cone and like broke it on stage. It was awesome. It was amazing.
They're good showmen. They put on an incredible performance. We had a couple other great artists there too, Sam Birchfield and Field Guide from Canada. They're amazing.
Sweet. I mentioned I started listening to you guys a few years back. I was first introduced to you with your fan favorite track, Dandelion. So I got to talk about it. Did you know when you were writing it that like you were on to the one?
No, at first we honestly didn't know that it was going to be a big song. We liked the song and we put it out, and I think that was it. And then this year it just went bonkers. Like it was released 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and all of a sudden for some reason this year it just like
really
we were getting like 60,000 plays a day on Dandelion on Spotify, and for no apparent reason we couldn't figure out why.
Wow. I honestly didn't realize it was this year where it really kind of had its moment.
It was crazy, like in January or something.
Do you think it's indicative of like, I mean, you guys have been making this style of music for a long time, but I also feel like now there's more of a market for it. Do you think that's part of the reason?
Could be. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that helps. We've also, I feel like we've done a good amount of touring the last 2 years, and we switched our
Booking
agent and different label, and but I'm sure that definitely has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the rise of like acts like Noah Kahn have really helped the folk space. It's like kind of that like rising tide raises all ships thing.
Yeah.
I think just like having artists like that who've kind of broken through the pop sphere, and they're able to like uplift folk artists, I think is pretty cool. I think by association alone,
For sure.
we get people who love our music because they found Noah Khan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked about it because then I get to like see all these new bands, and honestly, this style of music is one of my favorite to see live. I saw that you toured with Camp.
Yeah, those guys they're good buddies.
Those
of
were
ours.
one of my favorite shows.
They're
of
amazing.
this year, so that was sick. I want to talk about your self-titled sophomore album, which just dropped in July. Oliver Hazard, obviously. Self-titled usually is like an introduction. Obviously, you guys have already had a debut album. So why did we go with a self-titled name? And did you feel like this was kind of a reintroduction?
Yeah, that was exactly it.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
we wanted to reintroduce ourselves as a band.
Yeah.
You know? And it's kind of like more personalized, the album itself. You know, it's got this beautiful songs with like just Deb's voice, for instance, or like just my voice. You know, it's just like a little more. It's not as unison as some of our old stuff. So
Yeah.
we did that for a reason.
Yeah, it was so tough because it was like we recorded the first album, and we kind of it like took off. But even in that scenario, I just played tambourine and sang on it, and we were just having fun, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But also too, if you would have given me a like pen and paper right then, be like, hey, this is going to be your career for the rest of your 5 years, I wouldn't have done it. Because it was just such a in the moment thing. He went home, you know, it was like a blessing that it happened. But then I was like, you know, and to answer what you're saying, you know, I think with the EP, we were really learning how to be a band and like actually take it seriously and work together. And then this album, would have been the first album that I feel like we really kind of knew what we were doing more and like a reintro to what the band had kind of become.
We're kind of, introducing ourselves almost. Like we didn't really know who we were, you know, as a band, you know. So I think that's going to be a big thing in the next record that we're working on right now is like finding a way to kind of marry this self-titled record with like who we think we could become or who we were before that and just put it all into one kind of record. Yeah, so.
Yeah, what did you think, what came out of it? What did you learn about yourself as a band through the creation of the self-titled album?
I feel like for me, it was like we could make songs that are slower and a little less, you know, kind of thump, stomp and holler vibes, you know, just like step outside of our lane for a second and put that music out and have our fans love it just as much as all the other stuff, I think was really important for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely knew that the staple to all this stuff was just maintaining our vocal presence. And if we did that, you know, kind of whatever you put around it, you're still going to keep whatever you're characterized as.
Yeah.
So, and we always keep that in mind, you know, even with this newest album. It's like musically, I think we're doing things that are a little bit different. Nothing in a different department, but, you know, it should change a little bit. And but we're just keeping in mind that keep the vocals down, you know, make some good harmonies, and people keep coming around. Maybe, I don't know.
I think they will. I'm a huge lyrics guy. It's definitely like what I tend to listen to before I even like really listen to like the background stuff. One of the songs that got me was Let Down.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I relate to it because there's some lines that I don't want to relate to, but unfortunately I think I might.
Yeah.
Can you like tell me about the inspiration behind the track?
Yeah, I guess. So this is actually an interesting subject. So it was the initial concept of the song was written about our original third member, who was, I think he kind of flew off the handle. And
He got angry at me. There was something. It was completely like a temper tantrum, and he, in essence, made a fool of himself. And I called him out, and then he felt really embarrassed. And then he felt.
And that song kind of started, and then Deb and I helped him finish it, you know, with the chorus and a lot of the instrumentation and arrangements on it. But yeah, and unfortunately it was kind of like a foreshadow moment of him exiting the band, which was a bummer. But yeah, this is actually the first time we've ever talked about that.
Whoa.
But, it was it all happened in like 2022 around the time that we were like, oh fuck, is this band gonna survive, you know?
Well, that must be a breath of fresh air, though, to at least get like a song and some closure out of. I'm sure it was a.
Yeah,
not
it
great
was a
situation.
process. You know, it didn't all happen at once, and he's all good and we're all good, and we always wish him the best. And it is what it is. It's not easy. A lot of things happen, and sometimes it's just not what you want to do.
And
I think
being in a band
had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, bands are tough. It's hard to be in a band. Like, it's a shitload of work, and it's fucking tiring.
Weird.
We slept a lot last night, though, so we feel great.
Really? That's surprising. I usually don't hear that when we get people in here. They're usually like, I have about 2 hours of sleep. Are you guys on a bus?
No.
Van?
No. Yeah. I'm glad you're manifesting that, though. The bus would be sick.
I manifested Big Night Live. We got the bus. I mean, you're selling out shows, man. It's what's to come. Bring it back to the album, though. Something I really liked about it is you have visuals for like almost every track. Did you know you wanted to do that? Is that like a business thing? And like, what's the creative process of it? Because I mean, there's some animated stuff too, which I imagine takes some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was all like, we had a long time to think up this record, this release.
We did.
We recorded it in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't put it out till 2023. And so we had a really amazing collage artist, a couple of them actually, who helped us. We really wanted it to be like a textured collage, each song. And so like the Fly Right music video is full textured collage, moving around, totally animated. And every single art piece is based off that same art style. One of the guys' name is Austin Stripka. He did a lot of stuff for the band Camp. And then the other guy's named Randall Letty. He did our final artwork as well for the record. And he's an amazing artist. He works with a lot of great bands too. So
Sweet. Are you like, here's what I want, animate it for me? Or is it kind of like a back and forth?
Kind of just gives you what he thinks is going on in his head, and then you kind of analyze it. Sometimes it, would say, well, why don't you try this? But for the most part, hire an artist to be themselves.
yeah.
Cool, I like that.
We loved his style, so we were like, we love that. Don't change.
Yeah, it definitely matched what I had in my head when I heard the album.
Love it.
Obviously, you're kind of enjoying this self-titled era, but you just kind of alluded to a new album. What are you writing? What's inspiring you these days?
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, it's like there's like a freedom aspect, I think, to this next record that feels very like, I don't know. It's record one was a kind of a accident. EP one was like us having fun after the accident. Oliver Hazard was like a Hail Mary of like, let's just like put out what we think is good, And this record is like, I think it's gonna be awesome. It's just like we're having fun. We're doing all of those things, We're like having fun writing it, having fun recording it. We're putting amazing we're doing whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
And it feels so good, and we just like are confident that our fans are gonna like it, because we just have awesome fans. Like everybody's so supportive. It's amazing. So.
Are we experimenting with anything?
We are, yeah.
Lay it on me, if you can.
We are bringing in maybe some banjo into some of these new songs, new drummer aspects, like full drum kit,
Sweet.
Which we've never really done. Like cool, and we hired a bassist to put some like really sick bass lines on, because we just we do it ourselves normally, but.
There'll be some hidden French horn in there as well.
Oh yeah, Nate's a French hornist. Yeah, 2 songs. 2 songs?
I think it's 3.
Maybe 3. Yeah, we
Very cool. So when's it coming out?
We'll start next year. We're gonna start releasing some tracks.
Wow, thank you. First of all, I fully didn't think you were going to share any of this with me, so thank you. I tried to.
We don't know
twist your
what
arm.
month
don't know
next
what
year
day,
it'll start,
Okay.
but it could be like as early as April. But you just never know when the first song's gonna come out. But yeah, we want to release the music by next year. That's the
Hell yeah.
goal. So.
All right, I'm stoked. Before I get to my final question, I mentioned I was kind of stalking your fans, which is honestly my favorite activity to do. And I reached out to them, and I let them know that Oliver Hazard was coming on the show. And I was like, you got any questions for them? And they said, yeah, of course. So here are some questions from your fans. Number 1 is from John. Probably should have got the town he was from, but his name's John. Were there any second choice band names?
Yeah, there were more or less. It was a first choice band name, and I loved the name. And it was called the Painted Ladies. And I thought it was cool because it was 3 guys, And it just felt like it had it could be anything. It could have been, it didn't mean that it was a folk band. It could have, it had other ways of looking at it. But then, yeah, unfortunately, there was a band in Australia that was called the Painted Ladies, and we couldn't do that. And then after that, it was a shit heap of terrible names. Just like
it was bad, yeah.
I mean, there was just paragraph after paragraph after paragraphs on group chats of just names. And if you get that many names, you're never gonna pick a name. There's just too many options.
Did you even bother using like a generator?
Oh yeah, I mean, that was mostly I would put my 3 favorite, like orange. My favorite color is orange, so put orange and a couple other words in there and just see what happens. I think there was one that was, what was it? It was it sounded like Vietnam. It was
it was like I don't even know.
like orange something.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad names.
Sounded like chemical.
They just didn't make any sense. Like just stuff that Silver Suns. Just like things that didn't mean anything. I think that's a band already, the Silver Suns. But it was horrible. Yeah, we just after a while we just stopped trying to choose.
Oliver Hazard's a great one. You beat the other Oliver Hazard in SEO. So congrats.
We did.
That means you've officially made it.
That's our goal. Yeah, he's kind of a B-list celebrity though.
All right, here's another one from Chelsea, who is definitely from Waterville. What is your favorite Waterville hangover food?
Ooh, I feel like there's only one place to go.
One place to go. Nate, do you have a good one?
Being pretty new to Waterville, I'll give you a place called Chowder's, white chicken chili, and their tacos. Yeah.
Nice.
Is that on TikTok? No.
I don't
Okay.
know. Probably
Never
not.
mind. All right, I'm thinking of a meme.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
These guys don't have.
I've never heard of white chicken chili actually, so maybe that's just
my
me being
goodness.
uncultured.
It is very good.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Stupid ass millennial. Is that on TikTok?
Played a joke on me.
We can make it. Put it on TikTok.
Terry wants to know, what's your dream collab?
Dream collab. Man, there's so many of them. I mean, you mean for like a song or like a concert? You think? I'll let you interpret it.
Let's say song.
I would love to collaborate with like a female vocalist that that maybe I've been fans for like a million years. So for me, that might be like, I don't even know, like
Truesdale.
Yeah, well, no, I was even thinking like someone like Margot Price or like someone who's just like I've been inspired by, and I've always loved like we just have a lot of dude energy on this.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice having that juxtaposition,
The Painted Ladies.
Yeah.
I know.
Gotta bring them in.
Evened us out.
Okay. Any other dream collabs?
What do you guys think?
Do they have to be alive?
No. Who cares? We got AI.
Since he's recently passed, I would love to have written a song with Robbie Robertson, or just had him tell me what to do. That'd have been fun. I'm not sure if it would be like an on-stage type thing, but I'm sure it'd be great. Nathan?
I think something with the Lumineers would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. That would actually, I think your fans would die. Okay, last one is from Andrea. Is there a common misheard lyric in one of your songs?
I think so. Actually, I think on the song Grenadine, there's, but I kind of like what they've turned it into. So I think originally at the end of the song, we say, you lovely liar, my old-fashioned queen. And a lot of folks, even the folks who wrote the lyrics on Genius or whatever the lyric thing is, they write, you lovely light, my old-fashioned queen. And I'm like, oh man, I think that's better. Like whoever wrote it, I was like, oh, I love that too. So I'm kind of just going to let them know that maybe that's going to be the final lyric, the misinterpreted one. But I don't know. I think they're both great, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
You should play it out live and see if anyone notices.
Yeah.
That's how you can see your real fans. All right, so that's my questions for your fans. I wrap up every interview with this question, and it's honestly one of my favorite questions to ask an artist. Beyond music and beyond your career, actually completely unrelated to both, what are some goals you have in the near future?
Oh, boy. Not about music. I would like to be healthy at the age of 40.
It's a good one.
And I'll probably fulfill it, so think of it that way too. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Just getting my personal, mental, and physical health a little bit in a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, mine
You're
was
not allowed
going
to
to be
say that, I'm
like,
sorry.
no, I was going to like, I'd like to, I'm trying to get,
One more weight on you?
no, like 20, I'm trying to get like over near 20 ski days in before
that's good.
we start tour in March.
All right.
So that's kind of my
What
near future.
where are we
goal.
skiing?
I'm going to go to, it'll be a lot of like Tahoe, and then some Montana so far, and then maybe some Utah.
You ever been to Big Sky?
Yeah, I'm going there for 5 days in
So sick, man.
in February. Yeah,
I lived there for a quick second
Really?
during COVID. It was the best time of my life.
I love it.
Didn't ski though because it was summertime. Well, Oliver Hazard, thanks so much for coming in. This was a delight chatting with you. I'm super stoked to catch your show tonight. What can I expect?
You can expect some cool visuals that Nate is helping us project on. on the
Sonia
wall.
has a really cool wall for that too.
Oh, sweet. Well,
perfect.
ours is gonna be a little more. It'll be a little more like.
You'll see.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, we've just been exploring some new stuff with some stage design elements, lights and lamps and candles and things like that.
I love it. What I'm
Projection,
hearing is
banners.
take an edible before.
Yeah, take an edible before. Yes, exactly.